So this video is long overdue, but I want to make this video about don't let people discriminate your ethnicity. Okay? Because I notice a lot of times people like discriminate your ethnicity, especially if they don't want you, they feel as though when you acknowledge your ethnicity that you feel better than them. You know, they feel like that because they're delusional. Anyway, so let's get started. So, ethnicities can be like, for example, well, I don't know why I'm describing you what ethnicities are, but the reason I'm making this video because I remember I made the mistake, and I'm glad I apologized, and that's what we do here. We grow and we learn on this channel. So I remember like it was like a year ago, I was talking to this girl, we're not friends, and I remember how she told me she was Italian, and I was like, oh, you're that spicy white. I had to caught myself, and I realized I picked up that behavior from when I was younger, because when I was younger, it was so normalized to discriminate ethnicities and other people like mixtures and whatever. And I went back to apologize to her, and I realized that was so wrong of me. And because you know, she told me she was part Italian, part Irish, or whatever, and I realized I just basically dismiss who she was as a person. And I'm glad to say that I learned and I apologize, because I don't want that to happen to us as Exotical Barbies, where what's that called? Understand that that ethnicities are just as important to someone's identity. And I feel as though that many people discredit, like, for example, calling Italians the spicy white, or like just basically be like, oh, you're just black by the end of the day. We'd be like, oh, I'm Dominican, and people like, oh, you're just black, you know what I mean? And then you'd be like, oh no, I identify as Latina and whatnot, I identify with my culture and whatnot, or they try to capitalize that, or you'd be like, oh no, I'm Ghanaian. They'd be like, oh, by the end of the day, you're just black, you're just black. It doesn't really matter. Or they try to be like, oh, it's okay. We like, you're just like us and whatnot. Instead of like, oh, can you learn more about your culture, or when you speak about your culture, they're not dismissing it, you know what I'm saying, or they try to tell you, make fun, you know what I'm saying. And I feel as though it's so normalized. Or for example, like I noticed this with different races. I'm not going to just point at black people for this. Like, for example, when I noticed when white people try to discredit the fact that how they treated Italians or Irish people, how they try to be like, oh no, you're white, it's okay, you're just white just like us and whatnot, or like they kind of like glimpse over, and then make stereotypes. It's really, they just like you, why are you making stereotypes about them? Or let's say for the African American community, the same thing. When I just say with Ghanaian, let's say that for Ethiopians, let's say that for Dominicans, for Afro, you know what I'm saying, Afro Latinos, you know what I'm saying. Because if that is that, why are you making those stereotypes and gestures, And by the way, because the reason I started with the Irish and the Italians, since I remember that happened in class and whatnot, and I remember how someone said that, well, if that's the case, which is true, how come there's discriminatory towards Italians and Irish people back in the day? You know what I'm saying? Or like saying things with like people who was mixed back in the day and whatnot, when they like, when people say, oh yeah, I'm half Italian and half black and whatnot, they'd be like, oh, you're black by the end of the day and whatnot. But then how come at that time I was treated as not from both communities? You know what I'm saying? So I feel as though many people who try to glimpse or gaslight you, or try to be like, oh, by the end of the day, they don't understand. If that was the case, you want to get mistreated in the first place, especially here in the West. You know, and also too, ethnicities are beautiful, cultures are beautiful. I wish people could understand that more, that is not just like an all, put them all in one box type deal. And it even goes far as dialects. You know what I'm saying? Like even happens here in the West, where it's like more like the Southerns versus Northerns in a playful way, where it's like, oh no, I'm Southern, we don't do that from the South, or we're Northern, you don't do that from the North. You know what I'm saying? Like city girls, what's that call it? Country girls. You know what I'm saying? It's so beautiful, and don't let anyone take away that identity from you. Okay, you could be monoracial and be multi-ethnical. I remember Exotical Barbie, underneath my being multicultural, and I'm glad she pointed that out, that you could be monoracial and be ethnical. And she talked about how she's black and she's Creole, Louisiana Creole. And honestly, yes, I have it so much. I don't think many people understand that you can be those things. It's so possible. You know what I'm saying? Like, for example, you may be monoracially black, but you're multi-ethnical, where it's like you probably be part Kenyan, and part what's that call it? Part Jamaican. You know what I'm saying? You can have those multi-ethnicities with you, and that's what makes it beautiful. And I feel like as though, and there's nothing wrong if you still want to be like, oh no, like if you're like black, and you still be like, oh no, I identify with the African American culture. There's nothing wrong with that either. You know what I'm saying? Or like Italian American and you just identify, that's with you and that's your choice. But one thing I hate is people project and they insecure because they just feel like, oh, I'm just like, for example, because I've seen this happen, where I'm just a black man and whatnot, and I hate that this black girl, she got identified being multi-ethnicities, and get in touch with it, and actually like getting close with it, because there is a lot of people who either are like a supremacy of a race, like they want you specifically to just be involved with one ethnicity, one race, and to represent that specific race or an ethnicity. Or there may be they may be insecure about them, like I just made that example, and so they project that onto you. And we don't do that here in this channel. Embrace it. Embrace what you want to embrace. You know what I'm saying? And by the way, with that being said, it's never too late if you want to embrace your other side. You know what I'm saying? Like, you probably be like, oh, I'm 30 years old, and it's too late when I... It's never too late. Okay? It's never too late to be if you want to get in touch with your other ethnicity. It's never too late. You know what I'm saying? With that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what ethnicity you are. You know what I'm saying? And which ethnicity do you keep in touch with most? Whatnot. And have you ever experienced someone doubling down on your ethnicity? And let me know. Comment down below and subscribe for some more. Bye.